Sorry, I'm still getting used to this. That's it.
That's all right. We've started. Welcome to Section 31, episode number 291. I'm Dan Hammond.
I am Rogue Schindler.
Squeaky headphone Schindler. All right. We have a brief show. Not much to talk about. However, we're going to be off the next 2 weeks due to work and travel. So the next show will be February 1st. So we want to get one in, even if it's quick, before we disappear. You had a tournament that you went to. Unfortunately, I've been super busy and I've got more work to do. I've got calculus work to do. How unfortunate is that?
Oh my God.
Yeah. But
that's almost as bad as having algebra during gaming.
It's funny because John had said something to the effect of that while we were trying to solve that puzzle, and I'm looking at doing calculus at about the same time. Going into 11:30 at night, which is not fun. But I think I'm just going to cheat a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, like I said, though, you had a tournament over the weekend. It wasn't Star Trek.
No, it was My Little Pony. We had been talking about it since our last tournament. Everybody seemed to have a good time. There were some issues with our venue, but we worked those out. It was not with us. It was with some people who were claiming to use our venue and pirating prizes out of that. But we're still working that out. But we just we couldn't wait anymore. We decided we're going to play. So we had, unfortunately, you guys were already overbooked. So we lost 2 players there, and you and Cordelia, and Mac was out still dealing with work, and kind of that's running him down. But we managed to get Charlie, and we I guess harangued Matt. Yeah, that's not true. He volunteered. He said, "Give me a deck, and I will play." And then JD and Amelia came out. Now Amelia is not quite up to Cordelia's caliber. She did not sweep the tournament. She's also a year behind.
Yeah.
So they played as a pair, her and JD. But she enjoyed it. She knew she was kind of on top of things and reminded JD how to do things. And, don't forget, this card has meticulous. So, you can look at the top card of your deck and, play this guy over there so that he can solve that problem and so on. So it was very cute. And they beat Matt. And Matt beat me, and I beat JD, and Charlie beat us all to win with his chaotic Discord deck.
Well, that's unexpected, right?
It was, considering the last time I handed him that deck to play, he choked on it because he couldn't get any of his off color out, and so instead he just beat the crap out of everybody. So I'm glad it performed better than last time. And he seemed to have fun with it. But that was good. It was really fast. It was oddly fast.
Well, we're used to playing draft and then 1E, right? So that's how many hours?
Especially after having the day-long 2 draft tournament, event. It was, ponies is 30-minute rounds. And so we got there, doodled around a bit, got set up, had our 3-round round robin, gave out prizes, packed up and cleaned out in like 2 hours.
Had I known it would be a 2-hour event, I might have thought about going.
Yeah, if I thought about that, I probably would have tried to sell you on it because, we're used to, oh gosh, tournament, that's like half the day, it's 6 hours or something.
And if I was bringing Cordelia along, that would be the entire day, right? Packing her up, getting all the decks, get everything down there, and then getting all the way back up here again and getting unloaded. That would have killed the whole day. So just 2 hours. That's something to think about next time. Although it sounded like you guys were thinking about doing a draft next time.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're keeping that in mind. Mac has had 2 boxes of Crystal Empire that he's been sitting on, but volunteering it for a draft. So that's nice to not have to worry about rare drafting. You can just pull whatever might be good for your deck, and when we're done, we just give him all his cards back. So maybe do that if that's something that's interesting to folks. And we can play. We can play constructed anytime. It's great. Everybody pitched in 2 packs, and we opened those up and drafted them as prizes.
Yeah. Speaking of, I did play. Since there was talk of ponies and card games, Cordelia asked to play on Saturday when her brother was asleep and we had a few minutes. So we busted the decks out. I re-sleeved them all. Had a quick couple of turns before, unfortunately, the boy wake up, and then we got to pack everything up and put all the little bits away before he eats them. But that means I do have a deck put together that I could bring with me.
I was just going to suggest that I've got a set enough that everybody could play. We should pack those along. How much room does it take to throw that in on the cruise?
Oh yeah, I could probably put it all in one box. One little two. Well, I could put my two in an OTSE box for sure.
Yeah. Get some tribbles, throw in a pony deck.
Yeah. Well, either way, I would do it on the condition that you help make the decks better. Because if we actually go to a constructed event, I mean, we're playing with pretty much that big box of extras that you gave me and all the random rares that we got from that draft or that sealed deck we played in a while back.
Cool.
I don't know what the My Little Pony secondary market is looking like, but if there's a place to go to get a couple of cards that would vastly increase the power of a few decks, I would certainly look at that.
Yeah, if you have an idea in mind, like with cards of deck, so I'll look at your deck and we can decide, what you're, if you're trying to play certain colors, then I can look at what's going to help that out. I had a specific theme for my deck, and a new card just came out for it that I have one of, and I discovered this weekend that it's like, oh, this might be good. I'll throw this in, and it's super good. It's like really, really powerful with the other stuff I have going on. It's like I need 3 of that, and as long as it's not like a foil or a super main rare, most cards you can get a 3-pack of. You can get 3 rares for the price of a pack on eBay.
Oh, and so a couple of bucks then.
Yeah, a couple of bucks.
See, that I can do. I as often as I buy cards, which is pretty much once a year when our friend who plays Magic shows up, I'll buy a few cards here and there. I can probably justify spending a few bucks on a couple of cards to make our games more interesting, especially when we're playing with other people. The decks are probably well timed, well tuned against each other, but against the full card pool, I would probably like bringing a starter deck to a.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I thought my deck was finely tuned this weekend, and I felt a little bad bringing it, and then it just totally tanked 2 out of 3 rounds. So, that's what I. Of course, I did exactly what I always do, which is here's this nice, minimum size deck, and I'm gonna throw in these 15 cards. That'll make it a little more spicy, more interesting, or just not draw what I need.
Yeah, you went for the spicy. You got indigestion. All right.
Yes, and I choked on it.
Okay. All right. Well, we mentioned it, I think, once or twice. We're going on a boat, and we're going to be bringing a bunch of games with us. Tribbles, and are we bringing any other? I'm probably not bringing a 1E or a 2E deck, just because there's going to be 8 of us, and that's not really a multiplayer game, right?
Yeah, unless we're going to go with the old 7-spoked wheel. I don't think that those are necessarily friendly games to the groups that we're going to be playing with. But there'll be probably a time for half-hour game here and there, and I think ponies is probably a good use of that time. But I think we're more gearing towards things like legendary. Waterdeep, Seven Wonders.
Yeah.
There was a request for Pandemic, which I'm excited to play. We played a bit of that at Christmas.
Yeah.
And so, probably, not Monopoly and Canasta, which is apparently what they advertise in the game room on the boat. We'll bring things up a couple notches, but I think the longest, most in-depth game I'm going to bring is probably Battlestar Galactica, because I think we'll have a good crew for that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to get all 8, or at least 7 of the 8, or maybe 6 of the 8 all together to play. Maybe 5 of the 8. And it's funny. You had that game and Serenity for more than a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, still haven't played either of them.
Well, we will
Yeah.
make a point.
Yeah.
Ah, man, I would bring Firefly just so we could get a game in, but it's all the expansions. It's a lot of real estate. It's kind of like bringing Dominion.
Oh my, yeah.
And we the last time we played, I just said nope. Put it all together, merge it all. I don't want to separate it into expansions. So to do that, I would probably need a day just to go through and filter it out. So we'll see how much time I have.
You need the wooden box from what's it? The
Broken Token.
Yeah.
I keep contacting them every month or so, and still no word. But I need that box. They need to get on that because they do have what somebody was making at Gen Con. So there are 2 expansions. So there's the main game has one board that's kind of like the core of the verse, and then it's got the border worlds. And then the first expansion had it's like a 4 square board, and then 2 more squares on one side came out with the expansion on one side, and then the most recent expansion did 2 more on the other side. So it's like big 8 squares. Somebody did a big rollout mat, like play mat of the whole thing.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's certainly better to play on than a cardboard thing, and parts won't go flying.
Exactly. So that's something I might, because in for a penny, right? I've got literally everything else that goes with it. And we even played that with the not. I hesitate to use the term quick start rules. I'll say jump start rules that let you kind of skip a couple of turns, where you basically everybody gets to start with X number of cards instead of 0 cards, where X is the number of players. So, everybody, we pick one deck of the supply decks, and everybody gets player number of cards, and we basically draft them.
Okay, so that you're probably going to get something you can use.
Yeah, so everybody should get 5 cards, and you may keep them and you may not, but you'll at least get going. So that was an interesting way. I would totally play with that again, just to get the ball rolling. Because it's a fun game, but it's a long game.
Yeah, that's probably why I haven't played. Usually it's one of those, are we going to play that tonight, or are we going to play all of these games over here? And I'm usually there for the variety. So, yeah. All right. Well, that is what we were going to be doing next week. I remember talking about a tournament coming up, but I don't see anything in my notes about when the next Trek event's going to be. Probably January-ish, or sorry, February-ish, right?
Yeah, probably not until the beginning of February, from what I understand.
And I think the first, wasn't the Super Bowl weekend? Is that the 6th? 6th and 7th?
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right.
So maybe the day before the Super Bowl?
I think we were talking about a scrapbooking Super Bowl party, so we could put together more cards. Or at least 2 or 3 of us would sit around the card table and put together cards while everyone else is gaming and pretending to watch the commercials. But at very least, that'll be probably the next time I'll be around to put cards together and get some Trek in, and then who knows what's after that. But it'd be a good start to the year. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up this short show? Like I said, we're going to be out until the 1st of February, and we will have, I'm going to look up on Netflix and see what the next episode is.
I believe it is The Practical Joker.
Oh, that sounds absolutely awful.
Yeah. So that would be next in our line of the animated series reviews. But we're getting down to it. I believe that's episode 3 of season 2, and there's only 6 episodes.
Wow. After passing through an unusual cloud, the Enterprise computer develops a playful and potentially lethal personality. That sounds... okay. You know what? I take that back. That has a distinct science fiction possibility. Yeah?
Well, I like to think that there are always possibilities.
All right. Very good. Well, then until January 1st, then I think we'll close this out, yeah?
I think so. If you are having a tournament of your own, post it. Talk about it. we will hopefully get some results from our Phoenix tournament, and we can look at that. Don't forget, just before we leave for the boat, there is the raffle, right? Saturday?
That's right. Thank you for the reminder. Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Pacific. I will be pausing in my frantic packing and running around behavior to do a 50, it's I've gotten it down to around half an hour. We'll pull from the raffle box. Is the raffle box here? The raffle box is here, and I got a couple of things to give out to folks who join me in the chat. I'm looking forward to it. So we should be able to wrap that up quickly, and then we will get on a boat and we'll be back. I'm traveling for work the next week, that's why we won't be doing a show. And then on the 1st of February, we shall talk animated series. We'll talk about you know what? I will come back with a spoiler from at least one spoiler for the next 1 or 2 set, whichever's coming out next.
Bold promises.
I'll make it happen.
From our intelligence network. Yeah. All right, you heard it here first, folks. So come on back. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, I am Sir Rogue.
And I'm Sir Dan.
And I will remind you all to expand your tribbles in international waters.
I will hope they float to end.